The movie opens in the dazzling, neon-soaked world of Las Vegas, where a man named Chris Johnson makes a living as a small-time magician performing under the stage name Frank Cadillac. To the untrained eye, he's just another quirky illusionist doing card tricks and sleight of hand, but Chris carries a secret no one else in the audience could ever imagine. From the time he was a child, Chris has had a very unusual and terrifying gift. He can see into the future, but only a short distance ahead. For exactly 2 minutes, he can look forward and glimpse what's about to happen in his own timeline. It's a strange and limiting ability, yet one that has shaped his entire life. Because of this power, Chris has learned to live in the margins, never staying in one place for long, never drawing too much attention to himself. When he performs magic, he isn't really tricking people with misdirection. He's simply using foresight to know what cards they will pick or how a trick will land. It's enough to earn him a living, but he keeps his true abilities hidden, fearing what people, especially the government, might do if they ever found out. Despite living with this gift for decades, Chris has one persistent vision that goes beyond his usual 2-minute limit. It comes to him over and over, always the same. He sees himself in a small diner, sitting at the counter, and a beautiful young woman walks in. The moment feels different from his usual visions, deeper and more emotionally charged, and Chris knows she is important. This woman is somehow tied to his destiny. Twice every day at precisely 8:09, he visits the diner in hopes that she will appear. Most days, nothing happens, but he keeps returning, compelled by this inexplicable glimpse of a future he cannot let go of. Outside of his magic shows, Chris supplements his income by gambling at casinos. With his ability, he never loses. He knows which numbers will land at roulette, or how the cards will fall. But Chris is careful. He only wins small amounts, never enough to trigger suspicion, and always leaves before casino security can track him too closely. Still, one night he pushes just a little too far. After winning at the tables, he quietly slips away, but a suspicious manager calls security. Chris, seeing the future seconds ahead, navigates through the casino with uncanny precision, dodging guards and escaping just before they can catch him. But in the process, he's noticed by more than just casino staff. The FBI, led by Special Agent Callie Ferris, has been monitoring him as well. Ferris isn't after Chris for gambling. She is in the middle of a far bigger crisis. A group of Russian terrorists has smuggled a nuclear device into the United States, and intelligence suggests they plan to detonate it in Los Angeles. The clock is ticking, and every lead the FBI has chased has gone nowhere. But Ferris has heard of Chris Johnson's rumored ability to see the future. She believes that if they can recruit him, willingly or not, he could lead them directly to the bomb before it goes off. Her superiors are skeptical, dismissing the idea of precognition as fantasy, but Ferris is persistent. She knows Chris is the only chance they have. Meanwhile, Chris's life changes when the vision he has long awaited finally comes true. Sitting in the diner as usual, he sees Liz Cooper, the woman from his recurring premonition, walk through the door. In that moment, his foresight stretches beyond the normal 2-minute window. Instead of fleeting glimpses, he sees branching paths of how conversations with her might unfold. He experiments with different approaches, trying out lines in his head, watching them fail, rewinding, and choosing a different route. After several rehearsals, in his mind Chris finally engages her in the way that feels right, and they strike up a genuine connection. Unlike the usual strangers in his visions, Liz makes his power expand, tethering him to a deeper future. For the first time in years, Chris feels hope that his life could be more than running and hiding. But he doesn't have long to enjoy this possibility. The FBI is closing in, and so are the terrorists, who have learned that the Americans might be using a man with precognitive abilities to stop them. Both sides now want Chris, one to save lives, the other to silence him before he can expose their plan. Chris, however, is determined to keep Liz safe, even if it means going on the run with her. He knows the moment the FBI gets him, they'll lock him away, and he has spent his whole life avoiding that fate. Terrified of becoming a lab rat, tested and exploited for his power, Chris resists capture at every turn. The FBI launches pursuit, tracking Chris and Liz as they drive into the countryside. Using his ability, Chris keeps them just one step ahead. Every time agents get close, he sees their moves in advance, reroutes their path, and escapes again. This back and forth creates mounting tension, with Ferris becoming increasingly frustrated yet also more convinced than ever that his abilities are real. Meanwhile, Liz, though initially bewildered by Chris's strange instincts and evasive maneuvers, starts to see glimpses of the truth. She realizes there is something extraordinary about him, even if she doesn't fully understand. Eventually, Liz becomes directly entangled in the terrorists' plot. Knowing that she is Chris's weakness, they abduct her to lure him out. Chris, desperate to save her, turns to the very people he's been avoiding, the FBI. He strikes a deal with Ferris. He will help them find the bomb if they promise to help him rescue Liz. With little choice, Ferris agrees and Chris becomes part of their operation. In the climactic sequences, Chris is taken to a warehouse where the terrorists are believed to be hiding the nuclear device. Here, his abilities are used in full. Unlike his usual narrow glimpses, Chris now stretches his foresight, exploring multiple possible futures like a chess player plotting dozens of moves ahead. He walks through branching timelines in his mind, testing outcomes, watching agents die in one scenario, changing direction, seeing different results, and finally choosing the safest route. It's as if he can split into dozens of versions of himself, scouting every hallway and every door until he finds the right path. With his guidance, the FBI is able to raid the facility with surgical precision, disarming traps, avoiding ambushes, and eventually locating the weapon. In the process, Chris also tracks Liz's location and saves her from certain death. For a moment, it seems as though everything has been resolved. The terrorists are defeated, Liz is safe, and Los Angeles has been spared. But then comes the twist that reframes everything. As Chris embraces Liz and breathes a sigh of relief, the scene dissolves, and he suddenly finds himself back in the diner, hours earlier, sitting across from Liz at the moment they first met. Everything from the chase to the warehouse battle was not real. It was a vision of a possible future. Chris had been running the entire chain of events in his mind, testing how it would play out, and discovered that while some outcomes looked like success, others ended in catastrophe. What the audience has just watched was one of those rehearsals, a future Chris examined but has not yet lived. Now, back in the present, he knows exactly what choices he needs to make, and he knows the cost of waiting too long. The terrorists are still at large, the bomb is still active, and Liz is still in danger. But Chris finally accepts his role. Rather than fleeing or hiding, he resolves to work with the FBI, not for power or control, but to protect Liz and save countless innocent lives. The film closes on this note of renewed determination. Chris, armed with the foresight of what could happen, prepares to step into reality with a clear plan. He won't let the wrong future unfold. With his love for Liz grounding him and the FBI reluctantly placing their trust in him, he walks toward the unknown, ready to confront the terrorists head-on and change the course of destiny. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more movie recaps like this one.